It's November 2013. A small team inside Supercell's Helsinki office is about to show their new game to the company's leadership. They've been working on it for months. It's called Boom Beach. The presentation doesn't go well. Almost every single game lead in that room votes against releasing it. The game is too similar to Clash of Clans, they say. The matchmaking system has problems. Players are going to get crushed by opponents way stronger than them. It's not ready. But here's the thing, the Boom Beach team pushed back. They fought for their game, and they won. Fast forward to today, over a decade later, and Boom Beach is still alive. Meanwhile, Supercell has killed more than 30 other games that had millions of downloads, games that made real money, often even more than Boom Beach. So what happened? Why did a game that almost got cancelled before it even launched survive when so many others didn't? Let's rewind to autumn 2012. Supercell was on fire. Clash of Clans had just become the highest grossing app in the United States. Heyday was crushing it too. The company was making over $2 million every single day. But they hadn't released a new game in almost 2 years. The pressure was building. Would Supercell be a one-hit wonder, or could they make lightning strike twice? That's when development on their third game began. The team wanted to make something different from the medieval fantasy world of Clash. They went with a military theme, tropical islands, amphibious assaults. Think D-Day but on your phone. The core idea was simple. You build a base on a beach, you defend it, you attack other bases to get resources. Sound familiar? Yeah, that was the problem. When the team showed Boom Beach to Supercell's game leads in late 2013, the reception was brutal. People thought it was just Clash of Clans with a different skin. Why would players switch to this when Clash was already dominating? But the Boom Beach team believed in what they'd built. They argued that the differences mattered. There were no walls to manage. You only had one builder instead of 5, but build times were way shorter. The combat was more tactical because you could actually direct your troops with flares during battle instead of just dropping them and hoping for the best. More importantly, this was Supercell, the company that prides itself on small, independent teams that have complete creative control. If the Boom Beach team believed in their game, leadership had to respect that. So they soft-launched it in Canada on November 11, 2013, the test market. If it worked there, it could work anywhere. The soft launch did okay. Nothing spectacular, but okay. Enough for Supercell to greenlight the worldwide release. At that time, these greenlights were given much more often than they are today. I honestly believe today, it wouldn't get released. But who knows? On March 26, 2014, Boom Beach launched globally on iOS, first for iPhone and iPad. Apple featured it heavily. 584 features across both platforms worldwide. Android came later, June 19, 2014. And now the real test began. Critics gave it mixed reviews. Metacritic aggregated scores that landed it squarely in the middle. IGN straight up said it felt like a modern version of Clash of Clans. Players complained about the same thing. On forums, people called it a ripoff, a clone, a cash grab, but something interesting happened. Despite the criticism, people kept playing. The game climbed the charts. Within days of launch, it broke into the top 10 in 22 countries. In the United States, it hit number 5 on the top grossing chart. In China, which is notoriously hard for Western games to crack, it actually hit number 1. A Western mobile game hitting number 1 in China. That almost never happened back then. By late 2014, Supercell went all in. They bought a Super Bowl ad. It was Super Bowl 49. Patriots versus Seahawks. The most watched Super Bowl in history at that point. 114 million viewers. A 30-second spot cost $4.5 million. Supercell bought more than that. They spent somewhere around $9 million total on the ad and the production costs. And it worked. After the Super Bowl, Boom Beach climbed past Heyday in the download charts. The first year generated over $306 million in revenue. For most companies, that would have been a massive success story. But this is Supercell we're talking about. The company that killed 14 games before Boom Beach even came out. The company whose CEO, Ilkka Paananen, has one simple philosophy. Create games that millions of people play for years and remember forever. Boom Beach was making money, sure, but it had a problem brewing. A big one. The matchmaking system was broken. Every time you won an attack, you earned victory points. More victory points meant tougher opponents. Sounds fair, right? Except it wasn't based on your level. It wasn't based on your base strength. Just victory points. Kind of like what's happening in Clash Royale. So if you were level 35 and you'd been doing well in battles, you could suddenly find yourself facing level 50 players. Their defenses were way more advanced. Their troops were stronger. You couldn't beat them. But they kept showing up on your map. Players were furious. They started putting their headquarters right on the beach, completely undefended, just to lose on purpose. They wanted to drop their victory points so they'd get matched with people they could actually fight. Think about that. People were intentionally losing just to make the game playable again. One player posted on a forum, "I am level 39 with 267 victory points. I was just invaded by a level 47 player. Can someone explain how the matchmaking system considers that a good match? Another said, I've been repetitively destroyed by players far stronger than me, often within minutes of each other, making it impossible for me to build up resources. I'm about fed up with this. The complaints piled up for years. Players begged Supercell to fix it, to factor in headquarters level or experience points or anything other than just victory points. Supercell didn't budge. Their reasoning? If matchmaking was based on your level, players would find the sweet spot and just camp there forever. Never upgrade, never progress. The game would stagnate. They wanted the only path forward to be getting better at offense, learning to beat harder bases, upgrading your troops, getting good. On paper, it made sense. In practice, it drove away a ton of players. The forums were filled with people saying they were quitting. Reviews on the app stores tanked. Players who had been with the game since launch started leaving. So Supercell tried something different. In April 2019, they released the biggest update Boom Beach had ever seen. Warships. It was a completely separate game mode, unlocked at headquarters level 10. You got your own warship with engine rooms you had to defend. You faced off against another player in real time, both of you attacking each other's warships at the same time. Whoever destroyed more engine rooms won. It had its own progression system, a tech tree, seasonal leagues, rewards. The Boom Beach team was betting everything on this. Drew, one of the developers, even said in a video that the main game wouldn't get any updates until Warships launched. All resources were going into this one feature. The community was nervous. Clash of Clans had tried something similar with Builder Base, and the reception was mixed at best. A lot of players hated it. They didn't want a mini-game, they wanted improvements to the main game. When Warships launched, the reception was complicated. Some players loved it. Finally, something new, something to do at the end game. Real-time PvP that felt intense and competitive, but a lot of players hated it. The bugs were everywhere. Troops showing 400 days to retrain, chests not working properly, players farming chest bugs to get way ahead of everyone else, and the matchmaking still broken. You'd face opponents with way more defenses than you. 5 boom cannons versus your 2. One player posted, the update looked promising, but now I'm very frustrated and disappointed. I always get opponents which have much more turrets as I have, and that's why I can't win any match. Even if I manage to crack the opponent's warship, I lose anyway because he is faster than me. Another said they were thinking about quitting Boom Beach entirely. They took the mega crab from us and gave us this mega crap instead. The hashtag burn the boat started trending in the community. Players were done, and then Supercell made a decision that made things worse. They made the first warship season 3 months long. 3 months with all these bugs. 3 months where players who farmed the chest glitch had an insurmountable advantage. The migration to warships that Supercell hoped for never really happened. A lot of players tried it once or twice and never went back. But even with all of this, Boom Beach kept making money. By September 2018, it had generated over $820 million. By 2024, it crossed $1 billion in lifetime revenue. The player count was declining. Sure, the updates were getting less frequent, but the people who stayed were dedicated. They formed task forces. They competed in global events. They spent money. And here's where things get really interesting. While Boom Beach was limping along with its broken matchmaking and buggy warships mode, Supercell was killing games left and right. In 2021, they launched Boom Beach Frontlines, a spin-off developed by SpaceApe, a studio Supercell had invested in. 9 versus 9 real-time battles. Think Team Deathmatch but in the Boom Beach universe. It soft launched in Canada. The early metrics looked good, strong retention at first. Players responded well. It expanded to 19 other countries. Hit 1 million downloads in just 2 days. In Italy, it climbed to number 1 on Google Play's top free chart. Supercell invested another $37 million into SpaceApe in July 2022, bringing their total stake to 75%. But the long-term retention wasn't there. Players would download it, play for a few days, and leave. The revenue per download was 99 cents after 13 months of development. Compare that to Clash Quest at $2.24 before it got killed. The game had liquidity problems. Not enough real players meant you were fighting bots most of the time. And fighting bots isn't fun. On November 28, 2022, SpaceApe announced they were ending development. In-game purchases were disabled immediately. The game was delisted from app stores the next day. Servers shut down on January 16, 2023. 2 million downloads, a year of soft launch, a $37 million investment. None of it mattered. The game didn't have the metrics Supercell demanded, so it died. Then came the others. Clash Quest in 2022, killed after a year in soft launch. Flood Rush in 2023, 3 months of beta testing, then gone. Clash Mini in 2024, years of development, cancelled. And then the big one, October 2025, Squad Busters. Squad Busters wasn't in soft launch. It was a full global release. It had made over $100 million in 7 months. It had 60 million downloads. Supercell killed it anyway. Their reasoning was simple. It wasn't good enough. It didn't meet their standards. months. It wasn't going to be played for years. It wasn't going to be remembered forever. So here's the question. If Supercell will kill a game that made $100 million in 7 months, why is Boom Beach, with its broken matchmaking, buggy warships mode, and declining player numbers, still alive? The answer is actually pretty straightforward. Boom Beach is profitable, and it already launched. Not wildly profitable like Clash of Clans or Clash Royale, but it still brings in money. Around $12 to $22 million per year between 2019 and 2023. 16 million in 2024. More importantly, it has a dedicated community. Around 15 million monthly active users across Android and iOS combined as of 2025. Not as many as before, but enough to matter. And here's the thing about Supercell's philosophy. They don't kill live games. They kill games in development or soft launch that don't have potential to be massive hits. But once a game launches globally and finds its audience, they support it. Boom Beach found its audience. The people who stuck around after the matchmaking complaints, after the warships disaster, after everyone said it was just a Clash clone, these players are loyal, they spend money, they show up for events. The game still gets updates. In September 2024, Supercell released balance changes, bug fixes, quality of life improvements. They capped prototroop upgrade costs, adjusted energy costs for certain abilities, made life leech percentage based, added dark mode for clouds so players wouldn't get blinded playing at night. Small things, quality of life stuff, nothing groundbreaking. In June 2025, they added the summer update with headquarters level 28, more content for the endgame players who had stuck around. It's not getting the same attention as Clash of Clans or Brawl Stars, obviously. The team is small, the updates are infrequent, but the game is stable, it works, it makes money, and that's enough. Because here's what people misunderstand about Supercell's approach. They don't kill games because they're not popular enough. They kill games because they're not going to become the next Clash of Clans. Games in development that show signs of being mediocre get cut immediately. But games that already launched and settled into a sustainable rhythm, those get to keep going. Boom Beach crossed that threshold a long time ago. The metrics stabilized. The revenue became predictable. The player base found equilibrium. Squadbusters was killed because it had the potential to drain resources from bigger projects. The team working on it could have been making the next billion-dollar hit. Instead, they were trying to fix a game that was bleeding players despite making $100 million. Boom Beach Frontlines got killed for the same reason. Space Ape had 2 other games in development. One was a music game building on their success with BeatStar. The other was a casual puzzle game. Both had way more potential than Frontlines, so they cut Frontlines to focus resources on the games that could actually become massive. But Boom Beach, the main game, the resources it needs are minimal. A small team keeps it running. They do occasional balance tweaks. They run events. They add seasonal content for warships. The game pays for itself and then some. There's no opportunity cost anymore. No reason to shut it down. The team working on Boom Beach isn't big enough to make the next Clash of Clans anyway, and the game brings in steady money without much effort. It's like having a rental property that prints a few $1,000s a month. Sure, it's not making you rich, but it's also not costing you anything to maintain. Why would you sell it? And maybe that's the real story here. Boom Beach didn't fail, it just didn't become a legendary success. And at Supercell, those are 2 very different things. The game that almost got cancelled before launch found a way to survive. Not by being the best, not by fixing all its problems. The matchmaking is still broken, warships is still buggy, the updates are still slow, but it survived by being good enough, consistent enough, profitable enough that killing it would be pointless. Think about all the decisions that had to go right for this to happen. The team fighting for their game in that 2013 meeting. The soft launch in Canada showing just enough promise. The global launch hitting at the right time. The Super Bowl ad pushing it over the edge. The hardcore players who stuck around despite everything. All of it created this weird situation where a game with massive problems became too profitable to kill and too stable to abandon. So next time you see another Supercell game get shut down, remember Boom Beach. The game that lived because it knew how to stay small, stay steady, and stay out of the way. Because sometimes survival isn't about being extraordinary. It's about finding your niche, holding onto your audience, and making just enough money that nobody asks questions. Boom Beach is never going to be Clash of Clans. It's never going to make $1 billion a year. It's never going to have 50 million daily active users, but it's still here over a decade later, still getting updates, still making money, still alive, and in a company that kills games for not being perfect, sometimes just being good enough is the greatest achievement of all.